Hi, I'm Lisa Wall with Directional Learning, and I welcome you teachers and parents to the Teacher Parent Edition. Today we're going to be learning about letter G, and letter G is our goat. And the goat, when he's with the round letters, the round vowels, guess what? He simply makes his G sound, his goat sound, we call that. Then you'll learn how he makes his joking joker sound by becoming the top goat. Well, that goat had watched that cat outsmart those big animals, and that's how our cat became top cat. He was able to jump on his own letter and slide away. So the goat thought to himself that he wanted to be top goat. So that's what he did. He defeated the big animals by simply telling them a joke. He distracted them and told them a joke, and then he was able to jump on his own letter and slide away. So that's what we're going to be teaching the student, the hard sound and soft sound of letter G today. So for this, you'll need a whiteboard, markers, an eraser. You can always go to directionallearning.com and you can download our clip art. All right, let's go teach our student about letter G when he's with the vowels. So the first thing I'll do is I'll have them practice the cat sounds, because the cat will make his cat sound when he's with the round letters. And remember, that cat's pretty happy when he's with the round letters. So I will have them practice, because the goat is going to be with the round letters and he's going to be happy with the round letters, playing with the round letters, and he'll be able to make his goat sound when he plays with the letters. So our cat is next to the apple. Apples are round, so the cat will simply do his cat sound, k. And the cat is next to the rock, and rocks are round, and he likes to play with the dentist too, so he'll do his cat sound, k. And remember when he was with the up guy? Well, the up guy's a round letter, so the cat likes to play with round letters, so he will simply make his k sound, his cat sound. So guess what? That goat, he saw when the cat was playing with the round letters, and he thought to himself, that cat looks so happy. If I'm ever next to a round letter, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play with the round letters, and I'm going to make my goat sound, G. So that's what he did. So our goat, when he's next to the apple, well, it's a round letter, isn't it? And goats like to eat apples, so he'll do his goat sound, G. Then when he's next to the rock, well, rocks are round and he likes to climb rocks, so he likes to play with the dentist too, so he'll do his goat sound, G. Then I'll simply move our goat next to the up guy, and I'll tell them the up guy is round, so the goat likes to play with the round letters, so he'll simply make his goat sound, G, and he's happy to play with all those round letters. Now I'm going to make it multisensory for the student, and I'll tell them, do you notice that our goat has horns and ears? And do you notice that he's only able to make his goat sound when he's with the round letters? Well, today we're going to pretend that we're the goat, and you can only be the goat and make the goat sound when he's next to the round letters. So the goat's next to the round letter, the apple. So can you pretend you're a goat? Notice he has ears and he has horns, so you can put your fingers on top of your head and pretend they're either horns or ears or both. And when you're next to the apple or the round or any of these round letters, then you can pretend you're a goat, and you got to make the goat sound, G. Can you do that? You're next to the apple. He's next to the apple, so make the goat sound, G. Then you'll move him to the rock and say, oh, it's a round letter and it's the rock. Can you pretend that you have horns or ears on your head with your fingers and make the goat sound, G? You can turn into a goat when you're next to a round letter. And then same thing with the up guy. Have them do the same. This makes it multisensory for the student, and then when they get to reading with words with G-A, G-O, and G-U, then you can always remind them if they forget, well, it's next to the round letter, what do you turn into? And then they will simply remember to make the horns or ears on their head, and that will remind them of the G sound. So that's what you can do with your student to make it more multisensory. So I'll simply replace the cat with the goat. Now notice the goat is next to the elephant. Well, when the goat's next to the elephant, the goat becomes nervous because there's a big animal next to him and he's not quite sure what to do. But then he gets this idea. So he says, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell that elephant a joke. So that's what he does. He puts on his joking joker hat on, and then he turns into the joking joker. And guess what he does? He slides away and he says, "Ja," and he tells that elephant a joke. So that's what he did. He slid away from the elephant. He did the same thing that the cat did, but he said his other sound. He turned into the joking joker and said "ja." So he thought to himself, "I outsmarted that elephant. Now I'm going to go outsmart that Indian elephant." So that's what he does. He gets next to the Indian elephant and he's super nervous because he's next to an Indian elephant and it's so big. He's never been close up to an Indian elephant. But then he thinks to himself, "I outsmarted that elephant. I'm going to do the same thing." So he turns into the joking joker. He puts his hat on and then he turns into the joking joker and he tells that Indian elephant a joke and says "ja," and then he slides away. So he says, "I outsmarted that elephant. I outsmarted that Indian elephant. Now I'm going to outsmart that yak. I'm going to tell him a joke. I'm going to distract him and tell him a joke. That's what I'll do." So he does the same thing. He puts on his joking joker hat on, turns into the joking joker and tells him a joke and says "ja" and slides away. That's what he does. He slides away. So he says to himself, "I outsmarted that elephant, that Indian elephant, and that yak. I defeated those animals. I am now top goat." So now you know the story how he became top goat. So now we're going to make it multisensory for the student. So I'll bring out my picture of my joking joker and you can have them tell you the sound. When the goat's next to the elephant, it's going to make the joking joker sound. He's going to tell him a joke. Then you can say, "Let's pretend to be the joking joker." So you're going to put a pretend dot over your head that represents his hat. Then you're going to touch your nose and then you're going to make a smile. You're just going to make the letter J. And you're making the smile, and notice he has only a smile that goes towards the left side of your body or the one side of your body. Remember, the number 1 means the left side. So they can do that. They can make a pretend mouth with the letter J, making the letter J. And that's what you want to do with them. So then they can tell you the sound next to the Indian elephant, and then they can pretend to be the joking joker. And same thing with the yak. They'll tell you the sound and then they can pretend to be the joking joker. And that makes it multisensory for them. Tell them he can only turn into the joking joker when he's near the big animals. Now we can go ahead and we can review goat sounds and the joking joker sound. But first, let's review goat sounds. Notice that I have pictures here, so you can first review with pictures and then we'll move to letters. So I tell them that when the goat is with the round letters, he's pretty happy because he likes to play with round letters. So when the goat's next to the apple, well, the apple's round, so he'll make his goat sound, "Gah." And when the goat's with the rock and the dentist, well, the rock is round and the goat likes to play with the round letters, so he'll simply make his goat sound "G" and have them trace it as they say the sound. And when the goat's with the up guy, well, the up guy's round and the goat likes to play with the round letters, so he'll simply do his goat sound "G." So you want them to know that when the goat's with the round letters, he will simply make his goat sound "G." Then you can take away the pictures and strictly move to letters. So we'll go ahead and do that. And I'll ask them. I'll say, "This is our goat. Now, who did the goat meet first in the round letters?" And they should say the apple, then the rock, then the up guy. Notice I'm having them put them in order. It's alphabetical order. And I'm having them name the characters because the characters are important. So when they go to decode, they know what sound to make. So I'll simply ask them the same thing. I'll say, when the goat's with the apple, what kind of sound will he make? Will he make his goat sound or the joking joker sound? It's a round letter, and they should say he'll make his goat sound, "Gah," and have him trace it and say the sound. And when he's next to the rock, what kind of sound is he going to make? His goat sound, "Gah." And when he's next to the up guy, well, the up guy's round. He likes to play with round letters, so he'll make his goat sound, ga. So you just want to do that with them until they know the correct sounds to make. All right, let's move on to our next sound. Next, I'll simply review the joking joker sound with them. I'll tell them that when the goat's with the big animals, then he can do his joking joker sound because he gets nervous around the big animals and he tells them a joke. So when the goat's next to the elephant, he'll tell him a joke, ja. And when the goat's next to that Indian elephant, what kind of sound will he make? He'll tell him a joke, ja. And when he's next to the yak, well, the yak's a big animal, so he'll simply tell him a joke, ja. And once they have those sounds, then we can move on to just the letters. Next, we'll just practice with letters. So I'll ask them, I'll say, okay, let's put this is the goat. Which animal did he meet first? And they should say the elephant, then the Indian elephant, then the yak. Notice I haven't put it in alphabetical order because I want them to remember what the letters stand for, the characters. And if they need the characters, you can bring them back for them. But this is important because when they go to read and spell, they'll just see letters. So that's why it's important for them to figure out what the characters are. Same thing for A, O, and U too. You want to do the same thing. Then I'll just ask them, okay, when the goat's next to the elephant, well, it's a big animal, so what sound is it going to make? And they should say he's going to tell the elephant a joke. So they can trace it and say ja. And the same thing, what is he going to do when he meets the Indian elephant? It's a big animal, he's nervous, so he's going to tell them a joke, ja. And what about the yak? The same thing. The yak is a big animal, so he's going to tell them a joke, ja. So you just want them to know the sounds there. Also, I show them here that letter G can look different because when they go to read books or magazines or schoolwork, the G might be printed like this. Tell them this is still the goat. And remember, he may look different because he's round at the top. And it looks like I always tell him, looks like maybe he's sitting or laying down or sleeping, but he's still going to make his same sounds. If he's with the big animals, he's going to say ja or ja. If he is with the round letters, then he's going to do his goat sound, ga. So remember, it just depends on which vowel is next door. So the first thing I would do is I would have them go right into decoding, and I would have a little cheat sheet up here for them so that they know which sounds to make. And you can see I have a list of words here that you can work with your student. I would start off with the goat sounds first. So I would have them decode this. So I would ask them to number the word. Remember, these numbers mean direction. This is the beginning, middle, and end of the word or syllable. So this is the beginning sound, and there is no middle sound, but there is an ending sound. And then I would have them look for the vowel. There's the vowel there. And we label our vowels red. We call them red letters. And you can look next door. After the vowel, do you see any letter there? There isn't. There isn't a vowel or a consonant. So that means that this letter here gets to scream its letter name. So we call these sound sticks. This is the screaming stick or the long sound. So that letter gets to make its long sound when there's no letters next door. Then I would tell them, we're going to play a game called I Spy. Is there a special letter there? And then you can tell them, there is. There's the goat. Whenever we have this letter here, what we do is we make it into a goat. Now, they can make it into the goat any way they want to because they're the artists. So I'm going to make mine into a little goat for them so that they can see. So you can show them and you give them a little nose. Your goat can even have a little tongue if you want to. But tell them whenever we have a goat in the word, especially younger kids, I'll have them make the goat like this. Whenever we have a goat in the word, we always have to look next door or after the goat. And what type of vowel do we have here? We have what? A rock. And do you remember the goat? He likes to climb the rocks and he likes to play with the rocks. So he's going to do his goat sound. So he'll do his goat sound. So then they can read it. Go, the word is go. And then you can ask them how many red letters in this word, how many vowels. One vowel, so it's a one-syllable word. So we have some other words here and you can practice goat sounds with them. All right, let's go decode a new word. So let's decode a silent E word. You can tell I already have it decoded. We've silenced the E. That's what this triangle does. It can't speak. And this E is at the end of the word. It can jump at the consonant and make the vowel scream its name. We have a video on silent E if you need help with decoding on silent E. Then I'll say, let's play the I Spy game. Do you see a special letter there? And they might say, this is the goat. And if they don't, you can explain it to them that this is the goat and it's just written differently. So they can go ahead and make it into a goat by designing it, drawing it. If they like, they can give it ears. They can give it an eye if they like. So they made the goat. But I always tell them, we have to check to make sure it's going to be a goat because we always have to look next door. And it's the apple. So remember, goats like to eat apples and apples are around, so it'll play with the apple. So it will make its goat sound. And then now they can read it. G-8, gate. The word is gate. And you can ask them how many red letters, how many vowels in this word. There's 2, but this is silent. So we're only hearing from this one. So that would be a one-syllable word. And you can tell I have a list of words that they can practice with, and you can go ahead and work on more goat sounds with them. Our next type of word that we're going to decode is, it's going to make the joking joker sound. So you can see I already kind of have it decoded to speed up the process for you. So once you get to this point, with the word, I would tell the student, let's play I Spy. What do you I spy? And they might say, I spy a goat. So if they I spy a goat, you can give them the pen and they can build a goat if they like to. So they can do that. Makes it fun for the student. They can give them ears, however they want to make their goat. There's no right or wrong way, but make it fun for them. So then tell them, we have to figure out, is it going to make the goat sound or is it going to make the joking joker sound? Well, all we have to do to find out is look next door. What vowel is there? It's the elephant. So it's going to make the joking joker sound. So then give them a pen. They can pick any color they might want to use because the joking joker is a fun letter. So make it fun for them. So I'm going to pick purple. And I'm going to say that because it's next to the elephant, he's going to tell him a joke. And there you go. Now they know the sound to make. Gem, gem. And you can give them a definition of what gem means. Now, some students too, when they decode this word, they may not want to see both pictures. So they might say, wait, let me get rid of the picture of the goat. And they might just want to look next door and say, oh, it's the elephant, so it's just going to do the joking joker sound. And they may do it just in the beginning, and then they'll be able to do it like this. It's going to turn into the joking joker, so they don't need to make the picture of the goat. Then they'll make the sound gem. And then you can ask them how many red letters, how many vowels in this word? 1. So they built a one-syllable word. So that's how I would have them decode a word with the joking joker. So remember, when he's next to the big animals, he turns into the joking joker, so make the j sound. So next we're going to have them decode a word with GI, and so you can tell the goat's going to turn into the joking joker. So, you know, I kind of sped up the process and decoded it for you. So when you get to this part, you can say, oh yeah, let's play I Spy. Is there a special letter in there? There is, the goat. Well, let's see if it's going to make the goat sound or the joking joker sound. And by this point, you could probably take away the pictures if you think that they can do it. And they'll say, hey, there's an Indian elephant there, so that's a big animal. So the goat's going to turn into the joking joker. He's going to tell him a joke. So now they know the sound and they can read it. Just. And then I always use this as an opportunity to teach vocabulary. So if they don't know what the word is, you can give them a sentence so that they understand what gist means. Okay, the next sound we're going to work on is GY, and I saved this for last because Y If Y is not in the beginning of the word, if it's in the middle or the end of the word, it becomes a vowel. Notice it's a vowel, and we have a videos on all about letter Y, the sounds they can make. And notice I made this a capital G because sometimes they may encounter a word that has a capital G, and we've been practicing with lowercase g, and so I thought I would bring in a capital G because they're going to run into words like that. So the first thing we're going to do is decode this word. You can see it's halfway decoded for you already to speed up the process. And we have to figure out letter Y. Well, it's obviously going to cry its baby sound because there's a blue fly there. There's a consonant there, so it'll make it short sound. But does Y make a short sound? It doesn't, right? It takes over another vowel sound. So an easy way for them to remember is I tell them this is the yak, and the yak doesn't like blue flies because it may make them itchy. So that's the sound. Itchy, itchy, itchy. Or they might think flies are icky, so they can think of it that way too. So I'll simply write this letter here for them so they know it will make the I sound. So they can think of their keyword could be itchy or icky. So same thing. So it's going to make the I sound. So we've got that solved. Next, we need to be able to make the sound here. But they need to figure out the sound, so they just look next door. It's a yak, and remember, the yak is a big animal, so it's going to make the j sound. So there's two ways that they can think of this. They can think, see the letter J here, they can do a capital for j, or make it simple and maybe just put a dot here and then put the joker sound there. So that will help them when they encounter a capital G. So that's how I would teach this. So you can see I have words for them to practice, and you can make your own words for them to practice. And also I wanted to let you know to tell your student once they have all the sounds down that there are sometimes rule breakers, as in the word get. We don't say jet, although we should say ja there, but there's a word jet already, so I think that's why we pronounce it get. And same thing with gift. It should be gift, but we say gift. So they break the rules even though the big animals are next door to the goat. That happens sometimes. So we're going to end with teaching them nonsense words, because nonsense words, if they can decode nonsense words, then they can decode anything. So nonsense words is a great thing to do with your students, and it tells you if they're understanding the concept. So you can see I already have it decoded there. And notice that I threw in the letter G with this type of print because they're going to run into that. So how I would teach them to decode this is I would have them decode it, and when you get to this point, you might want to say, do you see any special letters in there? And they might say, oh yeah, I spy a goat. That's the goat, because you went over it with them. So if not, you can remind them that's the goat. And now we have to find out if it's going to make the goat sound or the joking joker sound. And they can simply look next door. It's an elephant. It's a big animal, so it's going to make the joking joker sound. So they can do a couple of ways like this. If they remember what that letter looks like, they can do that and then read it. Or if they don't remember it, you can show them where they can remember it. I do a dot there, and then I see it right there. So do you see that? I'm going to do that in a different color for you so that you can see it a little bit better. Let's do it in green. There, and then right there. And then it's a little J there, so then they can read it, just. So make sure you do nonsense words with them. Tell them if they can decode nonsense words, they can read nonsense words, they can read anything. So we thank you for watching Directional Learning, and you just taught your student one of the most complex sounds in the English language in an easy way, and once you teach them, they'll remember it. So we thank you for watching Directional Learning. Make sure you subscribe, and we can't wait to teach you more.